Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. I'm Sameer Malkani, one of the co-founders of the FPI, and we are sitting here with a distinguished bunch of people who understand their whiskies and their single malts. We have with us Rohan Jelkie. Good evening, Rohan. He's the internal brand ambassador of Moet Hennessy India, and writes a lot on wine etiquette and a lot of other stuff. So thank you for being with us. We have Sonal Holland, who is the master of wine, doing India proud in the wine space. She needs no introduction. We have Magandeep Singh, who has flown down from Delhi. Magandeep is a qualified sommelier and done a lot of shows on wine, on television, and even off television. Anish Trivedi, with a wonderful voice, needs no introduction. He is a connoisseur of single malt, and over the years, from drinking whiskey, has evolved to knowing his single malts very well. Welcome, Anish.
Thank you.
We start with Rohan. Rohan, we just attended a wonderful afternoon lunch and a very interesting live virtual tasting session with Dr. Bill Lumsden. He's the director of distilling and whiskey creation at the Glenmorangie Company. There were also counterparts like us based in other countries. It's a very interesting way of enabling technology to actually inculcate, tastings, to educate people, to actually engage and convert people on drinking single malt. Technology like that applied is not very easy to do. It crosses borders. It builds a great community, a lot of bonding. Do you think this is the future? This is the future?
I think going ahead it would become a trend.
Yes.
Because if you see what we effectively did today was exposed 100 odd select people in an audience spread across Asia Pacific.
Yes.
And took them through a tasting of the Glenmorangie Original de la Santa, and of course the start of the evening, the Bacalta.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yes.
Shared by two people sitting way back in Edinburgh.
Yes.
In Scotland.
Absolutely.
And to see how technology has come into play, getting all these elements and the people together over these fine whiskies is amazing. I mean, you couldn't think of doing this about 10 years ago.
Yes.
And we live in the time of touchpad screens.
Yes.
And of Apple
pens, anything.
Yes.
I think if you really want to create a market, and especially in an emerging market like India, I think it's extremely important and I don't mean to trivialize it by saying oversimplify, but you certainly need to be able to connect with the audience in a way that they understand the subject in a relatable way.
Yes.
And you need to bring them a subject in a way that they are able to understand it, adapt it, and that's the only way the market's going to grow, because that's the only way they're going to imbibe that product into their lives.
Yes.
I won't belabor too much about wine, because that's not the subject of the afternoon, but the wine industry has seriously done itself a great disservice over the years and shot themselves in the foot by over complicating or over mystifying the subject. As a result, a lot of consumers over the years have been driven away from wine or have not taken to wine at the rate that they should have. I think when it comes to India, the market for wine is very, very new. And we certainly have a lead when it comes to whiskey, because we do drink a lot more whiskey.
Yes.
Having said that, not all whiskey is the very fine single malt kind of whiskey that we drink. And there is certainly a need to help educate consumers by making them aware and bringing them closer to the various choices of malts and whiskies in general that are available in the market.
Yes.
Whether it is different countries, I mean, it's not just about Scotland, right? There's so many countries, so many regions around the world that are making some pretty good single malts around the world. So consumers need to be made aware of those regions. There are so many stylistic expressions of these single malts. There's the proper way to appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And much more relatable things, things that consumers can imbibe
Yes.
into their daily consumption pattern. Things like that really are the need of the hour. And I just love the way it was done this afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. I was
by
just
Dr.
going to
Bill
say
Lumsden.
today
I
afternoon
thought,
the session was...
he was authoritative.
Absolutely.
He was saying all the right technical words, yet it was in a very participative manner.
Yes.
It was not in an intimidating fashion.
Yes.
It was not in a snobbish, sort of a snobbery style of delivery of the information. And I think as a crowd, it sort of drew us all closer to the product, and it certainly makes me, and I know I can speak on behalf of all of us, it certainly makes us want to try that product a bit more. And I think that's all that is needed.
Yes,
and the consumer
absolutely.
works his way
Yes.
for the rest of the week.
Yes,
You
absolutely,
don't really
absolutely.
need
You
to
can't
sort of
make
put
the
the
horse
thing,
go-
take the glass to his mouth.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if you just lead the path in that fashion, the consumer finds his way and sort of automatically climbs the ladder of inspiration,
Yes.
aspiration,
Yeah,
as you may
aspiration.
call it.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Magandeep is here from Delhi, and thank you for joining us. Magandeep, you've done a lot of shows, a lot of offsites, and a lot of travel in the food, wine, beverage space. Whereas in India, consumption of whiskey is the largest in the world when you look at it volume-wise. There are certain trends in consumption of whiskey and single malts that can be actually seen globally and in India. Could you, actually highlight some of the trends?
Volumes in this regard is lesser important to me than
Of course,
value
yes,
and quality.
yes.
So as long as events like these sort of impress upon people,
Yes.
then that helps. And obviously, laws have to become easier. I
Yes.
mean, we are doing this, as you said, you can't take the mountain to mountain.
Yeah,
So here
yeah.
we are sitting here, gladly we're tasting the same whiskey.
Yes.
Could be worse, we could be listening to Bill Lumsden talking about the whiskey and we're just sitting here watching him taste it.
Absolutely.
So progress is there.
Yes.
And I hope such events can become bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Very important to
Yeah.
the industry and all of us.
And globally, Indian whiskey is finding good footing on the
Yes.
international
Good
market. So
ground,
it shows that we have a good palate, we
Yeah.
have the resources, which again sort of equates us and makes us feel more comfortable in our tastes.
Yes.
So we are more secure of what we like because we know if we can also make it at the same level, it's a healthy exchange.
It's a yes, two-way process.
Precisely.
Thank you. Anish, you've been drinking whiskey and then single malt for a long time. You do understand single malt probably very, very well, better than me. So, single malt at a point of time was available in a luxurious setting, available to a select few in an intimate setting. Today, we can go to a neighborhood, liquor shop and buy a bottle of single malt. We can also go to a local bar and you have single malt on the shelf, which we can just order and drink. May not be exactly what the brand we want, but the fact is you're getting single malt at your neighborhood bar or your neighborhood liquor shop. So consumption is increasing. There is an evolution happening. People are tending to drink, and appreciate single malt. Is it in today's circles a favored kind of tipple or a party drink to actually consume single malt? And what is your view that in the social scene, and I'm talking specifically with you on the social scene, you are very social and individual. When you actually go to a party, how do you actually see single malts being consumed, and what do you think is the future?
Sameer, both Sonal and Magan alluded to this. There has to be an evolution
Yes.
in the product. I think the biggest disservice that the whiskey industry did itself was by telling consumers that the only way to drink single malt was to sit in that deep leather armchair with a cigar in your hand and classical music playing in the background and two dogs at your feet. That tells the young consumer, and let's face it, I've got a greater age statement than the three of them combined. But it tells that young consumer, it tells Rohan, you know what, it's cool for you to drink single malt.
Yeah.
It's cool for you not to be at your dad's club, at the Delhi Gymkhana or the Willingdon. It's cool for you to be at that pub and say, you know what, I want a single malt.
Yes.
It's cool to say, I'm standing at a bar with three people listening to the most appalling EDM, but I'm going to have a malt. not a beer.
Yes.
Now, yes, who are the three people? Am I standing with three people who look like these two thugs? It's a different whiskey. If I'm standing with three people who look like Sonal, it's a different whiskey. But we've moved away from saying you can only drink your malt here. You must be a certain type of person to drink malt. You must be smoking a cigar. You can't be without your cravat. You know what? Let's throw all that crap out the window.
Absolutely.
Let's make it less tough.
It is a very approachable whiskey. We moved away from those stuffy single malts.
Yes.
We've got light, approachable single malts. You've got something that you can drink in the middle of the afternoon. We've been doing all afternoon today.
Yeah.
Right? You know what? What's wrong with that? You can drink a vodka in the afternoon. You can drink a gin in the afternoon.
Absolutely.
Why can't you drink a whiskey?
Absolutely.
And we all feel lively, fresh.
Exactly.
We're all speaking sense.
And that's what single malt is about. It's not about a private club.
Yeah.
It's about a great whiskey that anyone should be able to drink and enjoy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I noticed you said cool a couple of times. Is single malt cool?
Single malt is very cool.
Yeah.
Single malt is very cool.
Yeah.
Particularly when
I think so too. So I just want to understand.
You know, it's how can you go wrong? Let's
Yeah.
face it. You know, now Magandeep has been trying this for a long time. Walks up to a bar, puts his elbow up over there, and he says, "Give me a glass of Merlot." And the only one paying attention to him is the bartender. Now you walk up to the bar, you put your arm down there, and you say, "Give me the La Santa." Chicks look at you.
You want to do a comeback on that?
You know he can't.
You got some.
You want to give your count of the chicks you picked up just saying Merlot?
If it's a good Merlot, I'll drink the Merlot.
Who cares about the chick, right?
But thank you all for having this chat. Rohan, thank you for a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks.
I think we all
Thank you.
really enjoyed,
Very enjoyable.
the entire afternoon. So thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
Thank you,
guys.
sir.
Yeah.